Check. So had mic problems, got some new equipment coming, but by all means, we're going to be checking the comments. If you hear some audio during the live broadcast, please let me know. But Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, AKA man of the people, because I do stuff like stand out in the rain for like 40 minutes to make sure I capture great video of the Panthers practicing. So if you haven't seen that video, if you'd like to see the highlights, it's another video that I always put up pretty much within a 30 minutes after practice ending. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and check that out. And at least for standing out in the rain and doing what I do, we got some great photographs that we're also going to show you right now, but those are up on Twitter and Instagram. Give us a subscribe, okay? We're trying to get to 10,000. It really is going to help me do more and covering this team, get more players, get more coaches. That's why I'm begging for it. So if you have the opportunity, please do so. But you know what? Day 2 is in the books of training camp here in Charlotte. It was a wet one, but it was a cool one. Lots of miscellaneous things that we're going to talk about today. So let me just remind you of the format for these videos. We're going to try to do things where there's a format. If you're watching this video recorded, there's going to be chapters that you can click on and just maybe go to your favorite part. But anyway, we're going to have some photographs that we're going to show. That's always going to be our beginning. Patrick Snyder captured some great photographs for us. There's nobody better. Trust me. Search and find me somebody better. Prove me wrong. We have the best photographer, so we're going to show some of those pictures from today. Then we're going to go and do a play-by-play breakdown of the day. I'm telling you, already disappointed. I had Murphy's Law to the infinity power kick in today. Lost half my notes from play-by-play, but I'm going to give you what I did recover for play-by-play notes. And then we're going to go through player interviews and coach interviews. We're going to recap those, break those down for you, and then we're going to end with some Q&A. All right, so that's going to be the format for today's show. I want to give a shout out to Marcos Cash, the first person to jump on and provide a comment. So appreciate that very much, Marcos. Appreciate it. So again, we're going to go into some photos. We'll get started with the good stuff, with the visuals. Lots of rain, but we were all out. So you can see right here in this picture, there are raindrops in the background, but that is our quarterback, Bryce Young, and also our quarterback, Andy Dalton, chopping it up during practice today. Those two again. I didn't notice, has Andy Dalton always had the mask, the visor, the shaded visor? I don't know, but nevertheless, it's there. It looks cool. He's saying something funny because Bryce is smiling. Here we go. Another great shot. I almost could read the tattoo on that one. That is who is number 34? Why did I not write this down before I got on here? You guys are probably going to make me feel bad for not knowing this. And I'm going to say I'm not mad at you because I should know. But number 34 with the reception right there, that would be Willie Drew. He's a cornerback out of Virginia State. He's a rookie. So there you go. I have a reason for not knowing who that was. He's a rookie. We all get to take a little time to remember who these guys are. That's all. All right, let's continue to move on. We got head coach Dave Canales smiling, as you might imagine he always is doing, always in a good mood, covering this Carolina Panthers team, first-year coach. He said that he spoke with some of his mentors. Tony Dungy is one of his greatest mentors, as well as, of course, Pete Carroll, to get him prepared for this first season as the coach of the Carolina Panthers. Said the biggest thing they told him was, hey, you're not going to be able to account for everything. There's going to be some surprises that happen. Nevertheless, there's a good picture of Dave. Here we got Deontay Johnson. And Deontay is a guy that has certainly been appointed by the coaching staff as the guy that's going to be the number one. So that's going to be cool to see. He's definitely a guy that has some quickness and some other things that we're going to be showcasing. But we'll get to that a little bit more. There's the vet. Man, Shaq Thompson still around. And there we go. You got some motion. I don't know if you all can see, depending on, I guess, if you're watching on a cell phone or on a larger screen, but you can see the raindrops in the background. But nevertheless, another great action shot by our guy, Patrick Snyder, of Deontay Johnson running with the rock. we also got Bryce Young throwing some. Look at, I didn't notice this, but does anybody? So look, does anybody notice? Check this out. Does anybody notice the way that Jack Plummer is looking in the background, almost like, when am I going to get a turn? I'm going to put the picture back up. Doesn't he look like, when am I going to get a turn? And then Andy's looking locked in and focused, and Bryce is throwing. But nevertheless, some more photographs from today's action. We got several more that we're going to knock out here. These are some guys. Look at this. Look at this. A good moment of offense and defense getting together, having a good time before practice. So it was a point today in practice where it didn't get a little chippy, but it was like, was something about to happen, or about to have the first fight with Deontay catching the pass. And man, I forget who was defending him, but he kind of jawed at Deontay afterward and kind of came close like he was going to hit him, but he didn't. And the defense got a lot of rowdiness out of that. But Deontay later on said, I started to say something. I was going to say something, but I'm a different guy now. So I didn't. I made the catch. Let's move on. So that's just good competition that you see in practice all the time. Nothing wrong with that. Bryce Young running here. And, Bryce still runs a lot in between plays. This was something that I was curious to see how much he would continue, because previously I asked Coach Canales about it. He said, he's just he wants his quarterbacks to always be ready. And I'm going to tell you, I love the attention to detail that Dave Canales has, and it's who he is. Whether he trained himself to be continuously and consistently like that, I don't know, but I'm just going to say, as of right now, this guy, Dave Canales, is consistently a positive guy, consistently paying attention to detail. And I just like to think that he could be at the helm for a while, right? Because you may have some ups and downs, but if you got a guy that's paying attention to all the details that he has paid attention to and spoken to the media about, which we tell you all about, I just tend to think, okay, so maybe in the future, short term, a bad season is, we now have 17 games, so maybe a bad season is 8-9. And maybe most of the time we were like a 10-7, 11-6 kind of team. I'm starting to get that confidence in David. Now, there still needs to be plays that are run with guys and pads and people on the other side that are paid to make you look bad at doing your job. But until then, I promise, as we go along and I see more, I'll get that information to you. But I'm sorry, I almost lost track to tell you the point. He wanted his quarterbacks to continue to run and be prepared for that moment during the game where that 2.7 seconds has gone up, but he has the ability to scramble. And that heart rate has been up there. They have that. It's not the first time that they've gotten used to running. They don't want to have a game where suddenly he's running for his life and he's gassed after only a couple of plays because he's not used to it. So that's Bryce continue to run. A little long-winded answer, but just trying to give you all the information that I got. And we got one more great picture here. Look at this. We're saving the best for last. If you like this picture and you're watching the broadcast, I'm going to go ahead and pause right now. Hit the like button. It ain't going to cost you nothing. It helps us out. Helps other Panther fans find out about us. Just turn your phone sideways, hit the like button. It ain't going to cost you nothing. Do it on your screen, whatever you're doing. Great photograph by Patrick Snyder. That is Xavier Legette. And look at this. Meech, you said how well did Legette look in practice today? I was trying to put this up on the screen for you. How well did Xavier Legette look today? He looked good. He looked pretty good. He was disappointed with his performance yesterday, had some catches today, looked quick, but I'm going to get more into that in just a second. So those are our photographs from today. Thank you, Patrick Snyder, for bringing those to us. And now we're going to go to the play-by-play breakdown. But actually, we're going to do something before then. I got to get my water ready so I don't spill it. And by the way, you may notice that I'm in a new location today. Hopefully, I'll always be at the other location. I'm inside the stadium at the moment. But with the rain, they had to move all the activities inside, and that had all the media inside scrambling for places to do our live shots and videos. So this was the spot that I ended up with. Give me a second. All right, so Some breaking news, some very recent news about the Carolina Panthers. Excuse me. Wow. We're sorry about that, live TV. So when I got a cough, you're going to see the cough, all right? But hey, hopefully you appreciate the authenticity that you get when watching our broadcast. So Carolina Panthers today did sign a wide receiver to the team. They signed Devin Tompkins after he worked out today. And it was kind of cool. Normally, we only hear about it. We don't get to see it happening. But today, media was actually able to see right toward the end of practice, it was 2 carts worth of people that pulled up. And those were the players that were coming in for their workouts today. Several defensive players, I think more defensive players than offensive players. I don't have the numbers, but I just visually remember that in my head. Saw Marquise Haynes, former Carolina Panther. He had a workout with the team today. But from that workout, we brought on Devin Tompkins, and he's a former undrafted wide receiver out of Utah State. Had a couple of seasons with the Buccaneers, so there's some familiarity there with Dave Canales and most of the Panther staff. And there had to be a change, corresponding move with bringing on Devin. So that corresponding move was waiving injured rookie defensive lineman Popo Omave. Hopefully I said that pretty decent. And wow, that's kind of tough, right? NFL also gets a not-for-long league. You know, saw him getting carted off yesterday, and today you're waived for another guy. So that's what happens. But those are the latest transactions. Again, Devin Tompkins, wide receiver, signed after his workout today. Waived rookie defensive lineman Popo Omave. All right. One other bit of news that I wanted to say at the top. No, I'll give you a few. So we're going to give a few miscellaneous, and we're going to go into play-by-play breakdown. So hopefully that's all right with you guys. All right. So found this out, and I told you I would look into it. Man of the people. I'm earning that title. I'm going to earn it. So make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend about this channel, all right? When I was talking about the attendance yesterday, I said, man, I wonder if they're going to do something with it wasn't empty, but it wasn't certainly at a high capacity level. And so the Panthers have reacted very quickly. So I personally applaud them for reacting to that because those tickets sold out. You may want to come. There is now an opportunity as of this moment for you to come to any other remaining training camps that are here in Charlotte. So you can't go online and reserve your ticket, but you can walk up, come in on the 4th Street side, which is the main entrance for the general admission, and you can get a ticket and come and watch practice. So if that's something you've been interested in, you thought, oh man, it's sold out. No, you can do it. They don't have a cap right now on how many people that will be because this is something new. They're just going to try to obviously maximize things. They're continuing to work out all the kinks. But you can still attend training camp here in Charlotte by walking up, entering off the 4th Street side, and they'll walk you through the process for getting your tickets. David Tepper was at practice today. Got some video of him being there, making his rounds, talked to a lot of members of the media as well. When I say talk, just, we had a chance to greet him. I didn't get my chance. I was a little slow getting some other video that I felt. So hey, I'm going to keep talking about it. I got to get to 10,000 subscribers. I want to do more player interviews and coaches. And the bigger I grow, the more the team kind of lets me get those interviews. So please support. But I didn't get a chance to talk to Tepper because I wanted to make sure I finished getting some video up for you all. And then he'll be back Saturday, I believe. So another opportunity. But nevertheless, he also made his rounds talking to the parents of Bryce Young in the bleachers on the VIP side and walked around a little bit at practice today. So rain or shine, we were there covering it, and we're going to go ahead and go through this play-by-play with you all. And let me just make sure that there's no other breaking news going on because I just got a little beep on the phone here. Okay. Nothing breaking there, but again, just want to make sure that I stay on top of everything. So we're going to go over the play-by-play. Again, it was a lot more plays run today, and honestly, that's where I get a lot of my memory from. Is I'll record what's going on, then I'll listen back to it. That helps jog my memory to tell you all everything that I saw. So I wasn't watching, trying to retain that. I was doing other things. So unfortunately, I can't give a lot of recollection for what I missed just because of that workflow. But it was some positive things with Bryce throwing the ball today, some good catches by players. But I'm going to go through my notes here, then anything that I know I saw that I didn't mention I'll come back to. So play-by-play, Bryce was in the shotgun, had a completion to Steven Sullivan. Another play, Bryce was in the shotgun, dumped the ball off to Chuba Hubbard. Chuba is still getting most of the reps at running back. Miles Sanders getting some. Raheem Blackshear is getting some, but Chuba is still getting the bulk of the carries. Jonathan's not out there yet, and I'm assuming that things may change a little bit once that happens. It's early on, lots of time. And it's going to be interesting to see how this running back room plays out because we have quite a bit of them, which is no surprise because today Dave Canales did speak about, I want to run the ball well. That is really, really what I want to do. What I hope we're able to do is run the ball well because you can control things. On the defensive side of the ball, Canales wants to also stop the run. He said he just believes that's the formula of teams that he's been associated with in the past, that when you're able to do those two things well, of course, you got to be able to do all the other stuff too. But when those two are certainly strong points of your team, you're going to be looking at having some success. Next play was Bryce in the shotgun, handed off to Miles Sanders up the middle. Next play, defense did pretty good today, and that's going to be something that probably will happen throughout training camp. They're certainly able to get an advantage as the offense. You know, you're going to run a little bit slower if you're trying to know everything versus defense. If you kind of see it and that guy's kind of thinking to make sure you're getting his assignment right, you can just attack, right? So it's no surprise that defense, especially early on in training camp, may have a leg up. But Bryce had a play where he was essentially sacked, just kind of held on to the ball. Didn't get a chance to see who sacked him. During training camp, we have a field level view, which does provide some good angles sometimes, but it sometimes doesn't. So I couldn't see who it was that was going to sack him on that play. Next play, a little bit of partial information here. Andy Dalton had a completion, was not able to see who that was to. Next play, I did see Dalton with a completion to number 80, Ian Thomas. It's on a slant route, looked pretty good. And then next play, Dalton with the pass to Xavier Leggett. And on this play, he looked really good. For a split second, I thought maybe it's Amir or maybe it was Deontay. But no, it was Xavier. So it was my first time seeing him in action, so to say. That not in pad still just in shorts and a helmet. But he does look like a guy that has some size, but also some speed and quickness. You know, yesterday he told us about hitting 19 and a half on the treadmill in a little competition with Debo where Debo hit 19. So that's some good stuff, a big guy that can move that fast. Dalton was in the shotgun. Fake handoff, kind of did well because I lost my vision for a second. Came back, very good defense by 35. The safety, Clayton Isbell, to knock the ball out. He broke on the ball extremely well, cut inside of the receiver, knocked it out. Really good play, again, by 35 safety Clayton Isbell to break up a pass from Andy Dalton. Next play was Bryce was in the shotgun. He was intended for Mingo, and Xavier Woods broke that play up, knocked the ball out very well. And he also correction on that last play. Bryce to Mingo, defended by Xavier, but the ball was a little low, little down, low. He could have possibly got it, but maybe with the rain and things today, they weren't able to connect on that play. Next play, Bryce was in the shotgun, handed off to Raheem Blackshear. He went up the middle. Next play, Jack Plummer was able to get in. He's not getting many reps at all. No surprise, third string quarterback. You know Bryce is your guy, and he's going to back him up. But and a little different from what we saw in the Frank Wright early on. They were, I feel like, a little bit more intentional on getting not a more even divide, but getting all their quarterbacks more reps. But you also had some different things they were dealing with in terms of the quarterbacks at that time. Nevertheless, Plummer in shotgun to let's see, who was this to? I didn't write my full note. Give me a split second. I'm sorry. All righty here. So, all right. Mike Strawn. Yeah. So that was Jack to Mike Strawn, defended by a guy I wasn't too sure of, but actually it was not a completion. I'm sorry. Jack Plummer to Mike Strawn. They were almost red zone, basically, is what they were doing. Not exactly a fade route because they were more like really about at the 20, but a little bit of a mid-fade, I guess, if you will. And he was defended very well on the inside. Defender knocked the ball out of his hands, was not able to do that. But good position by that cornerback today in defending. And then Plummer under center, had to roll out, made an incompletion. So Plummer has not been impressive, but again, he's a third-string quarterback, and I'm sure they're just trying to get him to be acclimated to the NFL, get him acclimated to the system, and possibly be a serviceable guy that may be on the practice squad. Does not at all look like a roster guy at this point. So that is your play-by-play. And again, I'm going to check the comments, make sure that we're good with things. All right, got some comments coming. So I will continue to check those. Most of the comments I'm going to come to at the end of the show. So please, Big Tight, Meach, Bryson, Anthony, keep the comments coming. I will be getting to them very, very. By the way, let me ask this. Let's get interactive for a second. How do you like the broadcast? How do you like the clarity? We're broadcasting in 4K right now. Got the Panthers logo as the background. Do you like it? Give me some comments. We go live to interact, so I need you guys to interact. Give me a super chat. I hadn't had any super chat. Show some love. We're independent media, supported 100% by you guys. So take a moment and do that. All right. Oh, guess what? We'll get personal here for a second. Today's my anniversary, so I know a lot of people are talking about Bryce Young, giving Bryce Young happy birthday. Today, me and the Mrs. celebrate 4 years of marriage. We have 2 new children since our marriage. We have, got that many kids now, I got to think, right? Got basically a 3-year-old son, and now I have my first daughter, 9-month-old daughter. So we now have a total of 3 boys and 1 girl. So happy anniversary to me personally. That's something also that you get out of this channel. We're personal, we connect. You have a friend in the media. So we're not just friends because you see me, but I tell you things and share things and connect with you guys. So glad that we can be doing that. So let's go ahead and move on to the interviews, player recaps. We'll always start with coach and then go to players. Dave Canales came out today and talked about the rain. Again, it was raining today. I was prepared for it. I'm sure the team is. They certainly got more resources to help them prepare for each day than I do. And you could think, man, it's a sloppy day. It's kind of muggy, don't want to be out here. And guys may have thought that, but Dave inserts Dave Canales, a.k.a. Mr. Positive Energy, into it. And here's what he liked about today's practice in the rain.
Offensively, what a great day to deal with a little bit of rain, to deal with a little bit of weather early on in practice, to really heighten the awareness of the ball security, which we're harping on anyway. But we had a couple of drops. We had a ball get punched out, and just the importance of that intentionality, regardless of the weather, especially when it's wet. The flip side of that, Ajero, emphasizing it, he's been sick about the guys punching at the ball constantly, regardless of the drill, whether it's 1-on-1s, 7-on-7, any of the team periods, and they were able to get a ball out in 7-on-7 with a late punch out after a catch where the receiver starts to relax. Those are the moments that we have to capture. So it's kind of interesting as an offensive coach, those things always kind of make the hair rise a little bit on my neck. But to see the defense and the intentionality was like this conflicting. He's like, that's exactly what we want. It's exactly the type of football we're looking for. And then just a little taste of situational football. We had a little end of half 2-minute drive. Defense won both series right there. It just comes down to execution, running the right routes, throwing and catching, and that's the part where we got to do a better job of offensively. I wasn't fired up about our execution today. We know what to do. We know what the plays are. We're breaking the huddle, and the details are there, but we just got to throw and catch. We got to finish those plays, And the run game, again, just another great day, stacking those days up of targeting properly, getting the running backs through the initial line of scrimmage. I was really excited about that.
So there is a very good recap from today's practice, and I'm just going to, guilt trip you guys. If you're watching this video, whether it's live or recorded, and you haven't even given me a like, just, hey, happy anniversary, here's a like to help me out. Come on, man, we got to do better than that. It's free. All right, I'm just passionate about what I do. I want to grow the channel. I want to do a lot of things for you. So that's why I continue to ask for that support so we can grow and I can do more. So hopefully you get some humor out of that. See some questions coming, so please continue to keep those coming. Again, we're at the getting closer to the Q&A where I go into the comments and interact with you guys. So we will certainly do that. In addition to those things that Dave spoke of there, talked about the competition that is happening and the matchups that they have, kind of on the iron sharpens iron. So a lot of people will watch Xavier Legette and wonder, see how he's doing, as well as Deontay Johnson, because he's certainly been earmarked as the guy, right? And then there's these moments where you get a chance to see Xavier, also known as XL. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a little old-fashioned. I hate doing nicknames. But Xavier or Deontay, then they go up against J.C. Horn. Oh, who's gonna win? That competition helps. The iron sharpened irons helps. And he said they have a lot of those kind of situations on this team where they go to highlight those opportunities of matching up, I'm going to say in my own words, a really good guy against another really good guy. So you got that wide receiver, cornerback example there of Xavier, Deontay, and JC making each other better. He said, but we also have others. We have we have Derek Brown and Robert Hunt. That's another good matchup. Get these guys better. We put those scenarios out there as much as we can to have those guys going up against one another. Also, Jadeveon Clowney and any tackle, right? Anybody that's on the offensive side that's a tackle, that's a good opportunity for them to get better. So he's trying to highlight those opportunities as much as he can, as to continue to just make this team a better team. Some feedback that he gave about Bryce. Bryce did have a really good streak today where he did good, and then there was some, as I mentioned in one of the play-by-plays, bad ball, right? So what Canales says he's trying to make sure, and he says Bryce will tell you the same thing, the streaks, yeah, maybe they look good, but what's more important, consistency. And again, this is where I said earlier, my comments about Dave and liking his detail and his enthusiasm and the way he talks and coaches. That's cool. That's good. That's true. Streaks are good, but if you 8 for 8 in the first quarter and then you go 2 of 14, whatever, the rest of the game, you're probably not going to win. You got some struggles. So consistency is the key and something that he's wanting to see Bryce have more of. And as far as Xavier Legette today, he did better. I won't say he did better. He didn't do terrible yesterday. He just didn't have any opportunities to get the ball thrown to him when they went to 7-on-7 or team drills. And he had one today, I think it was pretty much the very first play of 7-on-7 where he went over top and made a catch. Unfortunately, I didn't see it live because I was putting my equipment down to switch to taking notes. But I've seen the video that's out there, and it was a good catch, and he did well. But when asked about was he running with the ones or is he with the twos, because he did get some more action with the ones, he said, hey, I like for guys to earn things. If you're a rookie, you need to earn things. And that's not a bad way to do it. So we'll continue to see Xavier have that consistency and prove that he should get that opportunity to run with the ones more often. Pretty similar, same thing what they're doing with Ja'Tavion Sanders, the tight end out of Texas. He wants number 0. 0's available. He may get it, but he's going to make him earn it. So I wanted to pass along that information. And Jordan Fuller was one of the people that wasn't at practice today. That was something that was due to a family situation. Tommy Tremble had to be shut down today due to some tightness in his hamstring. So that's the summary of things from head coach Dave Canales. Next, we have my man Deontay Johnson, who I've been talking about a few times today on this broadcast. Deontay shared some of the same criticism as Xavier did with his performance, saying this still needs to get some better. Specifically for him, he said with the urgency. needs to get better with the urgency and I wish I could have asked him more about what he meant by the urgency. Because honestly, as I say that, I'm thinking, well, what urgency? And I'm transparent, with you guys, what I know and what I don't know. I'm thinking, urgency? A horn just went off. But he also spoke about he's not a vocal guy. He leads by example, and I can see that. He works pretty hard. But he does say that he does talk to the other wide receivers. He said they actually, speaking of streaks, he mentioned they started off pretty good, catching a lot of balls, doing very well, running their routes well, and then it started to fade as practice went on and got near the end. And he said he talked to guys about it. Said, hey, we can't do this. We got to keep it up. I came from Pittsburgh. There's a level of expectations, winning culture there, perform every day, and he's trying to bring that to the team. He knows that Canales and Morgan talk about not really putting expectations out there, at least to the media. I'm sure they're saying some things to guys about what they expect, but in terms of the success. But Deontay said he's going to push it. He wants to win, he wants to succeed, and he likes the guys that are around him. And he's continued to gel with Bryce. Naturally, as they get more reps, that's going to be something that just naturally happens. But in addition to those reps that they're getting on the field, they also spend time off the field watching film, which is something that's really good. And he talked about that chemistry that he's building with Bryce and how he's going about it. So I'm going to share that with you guys right now.
Really just trying to build that connection. Really just see what he likes. You tell him where you like the ball at on certain routes and stuff, and you work those in routes versus air, or after practice as well, or in between. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you can get those reps, because those matter. And when the bullets fly and when it's time to put the ball down and play, you get in those situations, you know what to expect.
There you have it, my guy Deontay Johnson, talking about his, that chemistry with Bryce and how he goes about doing it. So, Bryce, we got a chance to speak to the birthday boy. What is the birthday boy doing? Well, of course, I'm sure used to this. And if he's not, he's a smart enough guy to know, like, this is about to be my life, meaning my birthday is during training camp. One of the more grueling parts of the season where you're getting all this information, don't have a lot of free time. Fortunately for him, for Bryce, his parents are in town right now. As they watch practice, they're going to hang around for a little bit, and they're going to, have some dinner together. Don't know exactly what that's going to be. Bryce was asked about, like, is there anything that you want? And naturally he said, life has been pretty good. I'm blessed. There's nothing off the top of my head I could think that I need or want, but, I still enjoy the day, excited about turning 23. But moving on from his birthday was Bryce talking about Deontay Johnson and how he's just a little bit different from some other guys.
He's very, very wiry in his movements, quick twitch, the way he can get in and out of breaks, sell routes. And everyone has their own kind of sense of movement. No one runs routes the exact same. No two wins or two losses look the exact same from a route running standpoint. So everyone has things that it's not a good or a bad. It's just a different that you have to kind of adjust to. And for Deontay, it's how just the movement, the quick twitch, how quick he is in and out of breaks. So it's just kind of accounting for that.
There you go. Sounds like he's talking about me, right? Yeah, that's Bryce talking about Deontay, and it just sounds like this guy has a lot of tools to do a lot of things, and he does a good job of getting open because he has all those tools. And he says one of the reasons that not one of the reasons, but the mentality that he has and being able to get open so often is just you never know when that ball's coming to you. And he wants the ball all the time, so. He also has a lot of incentive to make sure that he's good with the Panthers because he doesn't have a long-term contract. So we'll definitely be watching that and continue to report on Deontay Johnson, Bryce Young, and all the other happenings. There's things on the defensive side as well, coaching changes that we now have that we'll continue to report on. So appreciate the likes. You guys are picking them up. I like it. Let's go ahead and hit some of these Q&As. Let me make sure there's no other notes that I want to share with you guys. Oh, Eddie Pinheiro and is it Mevin? I know they call him thicker kicker, but Harrison Mevis, I believe. They're taking turns. So Harrison kicked today, and he did pretty solid, 4 or 5. The field goal that he did miss was a pretty long one. It was a little bit more than 50 yards. You definitely want to see guys make those, but it's not like, oh my goodness, he missed a 30-yarder or an extra point. So Mevis again was 4 of 5 today. Canales does not have any plans on making that decision sooner than he has to. He's going to let that competition play out as long as it can, so he can get as much information as he can and get these guys ready to be on the team. So let's go ahead and look at some of these questions and comments that are coming through. Let's see here. I think Aaron's giving me some props, so appreciate that. Big Tight, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, watching the broadcast. Meet, so basically I've addressed this at this point, how well Xavier Legette did today. Started off the team drills, 7-on-7 drills, looking pretty darn good. Big Tight wants to know about Ikem Equano, a.k.a. Iggy. I told you I'm a little old school. For some reason, I don't like the nicknames. But was not able to focus on watching Icky today. And, you know, the line, whether it's offensive line or defensive line, they're really, really tough to evaluate right now and how they're looking because there's no contact. There's no pads. They're not even in shells, which is a reduced version of the pads right now. So they're just kind of just stopping and pushing each guy. You know, you can't do all your things that you normally do. So what Canales is looking for mostly for the offensive line and the defensive line is just communication, seeing if the guys are getting in position, if they're catching the stunts and things like that happen. And again, I'm not really focusing on that right now, but I'll tell you more as I get a chance to. Biggest takeaways from both practices after day 2. My head's spinning right now, Meech. So, because there's so many other little things that I go to talk about or have to do and manage. I'm thinking about getting home for my anniversary right now. Biggest takeaways, I'm going to be talking about logistics and things that I have to go through with getting here and doing the production stuff. I'm sorry, man. I'm bad at answering that question, but I got to be honest all the time. Biggest difference from Frank to Dave, if any, in practice. Differences I see in practice. You're not going to see any difference right now. Now, maybe when you start going to more competitive environments, you may see something, but I feel like that difference will just come from also the players that you have, the different coaches that you have, and the culture that they're trying to build here. Nothing stands out yet. You know, I would assume based off Dave saying that he wants to try to give those key matchups, positional matchups, as much exposure as he can. Maybe seeing that happen a lot. But nothing to tell yet, Dave. But I'm sorry, Bryson, but I appreciate the question. TMJ, he's doing all right. So he hasn't stood out, which is good, right? He could have dropped the ball and messed up. So he hasn't done that. So right now, I'd say TMJ is doing his job. He's doing what he's supposed to do to give himself a chance to continue to make this roster and maybe move up on the depth chart. I see some happy anniversaries from so I'll just put this on the screen. Appreciate the happy anniversary. Thank you so much. Like the video if you haven't already done so. That's going to be my thing for the rest of this video. Like it. in terms of, you know, like it for my anniversary. There's some more happy anniversaries. Thank you. How's your experience been with the new practice field? I feel bad for Spartanburg, but I like the new training camp better. Also shorter drive. So the new practice facility, I guess it doesn't look good on camera, right? Me just posting up here. So let me get back to being professional. It's cool. You know, they can do some things differently, but it's also much more intimate, right? So I think that one big thing for the fans and being here in Charlotte is, even though you're not always right on top, you still got a pretty good view. Because in Spartanburg, they had technically, 4, 5 fields. And they were you were on the hill and all the action was like getting further and further away from you. So the hill does give you a little bit of a vantage point, but here it's, fans are sitting at the ends of both end zones. It's covered. I'm sure that's a tremendous difference that from Spartanburg is you got covered shade to watch. And with the smaller setting, they got some cool things going on with opportunities to play, and you got the city skyline. So it's a neat little experience. What's up, James Allen? Appreciate the keep pounding from Kenny. Well, and with I'm gonna guess this is the Django. I haven't seen my members yet. Where are my members? Okay, you can subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you help support the channel. It supports the channel financially. I haven't seen my members. I want to scroll up one more time. Where are my members at? But I know I'll take some of the blame because I do take the off season off. Let me go ahead and answer the Django's, and I'll get out of here. Yesterday I gave away something at the end. I don't have a lot of stuff to do that after each video, but I do have a few more things that I have to give away. Another picture, and I'll make sure that I'll do that next week. But the Django says, do you think today's practice on offense was affected by the weather? Absolutely, 100%. It was raining a good bit of the time, maybe 45 minutes worth of rain. Now, it didn't get torrentially heavy. It was kind of a light to moderate rain, but the ball's going to feel different. The field's going to feel different. And so, things are going to play different. And with it being early on in training camp, I forget which guy said, I think Bryce mentioned this. It's tougher to get ready to go out and practice in the rain on a Thursday, second day of training camp, because training camp is you're getting used to routine completely, and now you do it on a Thursday, second day of training camp, and you got to go through those adverse conditions. So it was good. It was good, but they had to get adjusted to it, and it did affect the guys. So appreciate that question very much. Thanks for watching. Tell a friend. You also have a friend in the media. Me, Chris Jenkins. Any questions that you all have, let me know. If I don't know, I'm going to let you know, but I'll also try to do my best to go and get those questions answered for you. I'm getting out of here. Thanks so much for watching, supporting the channel. Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe, live from Bank of America Stadium.